Rinku, we can start. We are live on Facebook now.
Right. So good evening, everyone. I, Dr. Rinku Dikshit, on behalf of the entire NDIM and Womenovator fraternity, welcome you all to the launching ceremony of Independent Womenovator Women Empowerment Cell at NDIM. We are honored to have amongst us our chief guest, Mr. Ram Mohan Mishra, Secretary, Ministry of Women and Child Development. It's our privilege to have our guests of honor, Ms. Tripti Somani Singhal, Founder, Womenovator and CEO, KGS Advisors, Mrs. Madhuri Sahasrabuddhe, Chairperson, Foundation for Holistic Development in Academic Field, Mr. Anil Khaitan, Chairman, Womenovator, Chairman, SNK Group, and former President, PhD CCI, Ms. Archana Gupta, Board Member, Womenovator, Board Member, Non-Executive Director, KEI Industries Limited, Ms. Meeta Sen Gupta, Board Member, Womenovator and renowned educationist, Dr. Blossom Kochar, Board Member, Womenovator and founder, Aroma Magic. We are also delighted to have our special guest, Ms. Kanika Tekriwal, founder, Jet Set Go, Ms. Gursakhi Lugani, founder, Nakhrewali. We welcome you all. First time ever, an MBA college in India is going to launch a dedicated and an independent cell to support women empowerment with a structured vision, mission, and quality policy with the agenda to not only develop the leadership competencies in NDIM students, but to utilize the collective skill set of all the stakeholders of NDIM and Womenovator to uplift the whole society by following the path of women empowerment. I feel honored to introduce the host of this launch event of NDIM Womenovator, VCEL. New Delhi Institute of Management was set up in 1992 and takes pride on its sole focus of excellence in business management programs. NDIM has been declared as the best management institute of India for industry linkages, the third year in a row, 2017, 2018, 2019, by the AICTE and the CII, and having been declared best in India 3 years in a row, NDIM has been elevated and declared as the first and the only mentor institute in India in the management category by the AICTE and CII. The young and energetic NDIM Womenovator VCEL Constituent Assembly will be mentored by Womenovator's team to realize their dreams. Ms. Simi Puri, founder of EdTech and HR Tech Startups, influencer and keynote speaker, and Mr. Vinay Kumar Tolambia, personality sculptor, inspirational speaker, energy and growth catalyst, master mentor, and a mechanical engineer. Both the experts are interim directors in Womenovator. Vinay is also my co-host for today's event, and I would like to request him to join me to enlighten us with the overall event proceedings. Vinay, over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rinku, for starting this event on an excellent scale. And thank you for such a lovely introduction for everyone and for myself. Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Shri Ram Mohan Mishra ji, Chairman NDIM, Dr. Bansal, Founder Womenovator, and my colleague in Women Empowerment Cell Initiative, Ms. Tripti S. Singhal, Ms. Madhuri Sahasrabuddhe, our guests of honor, faculty members, our special guests, dear students, and the wonderful audience who has joined us from all across the globe. Well, our journey with NDIM started a year ago when the Honorable Chairman NDIM, Dr. Vishwa Mohan Bansal, shared his vision to empower the female youth of India and sensitize them about the issues faced by nation with Ms. Tripti Somani. Today, we are proud to present to you the Womenovator's very first Constituent Assembly that shall enable us to redesign and re-architect the future of India and to co-create a better India. Long ago, we had a tryst with destiny. India has seen phenomenal growth since then. However, the benefits of this development have not fully trickled down to half of our population, the women. Women have played a vital role in our lives. However, they are still struggling to assert their rights of equality by birth, equality for privileges like education, health, nutrition, etc., equality of status, and equality in the workplace. Worldwide, women are underrepresented in all political positions. To increase the participation of women in the parliament, the Women's Reservation Bill was introduced in the upper and lower house in 2008, but is still pending in Lok Sabha, despite its reintroduction. The lack of representation of women in political leadership has hindered the focus required on women's education, social and economic empowerment. Each student from NDIM Womenovator WE Cell shall present today issues about their ministry or state and work on a project to alleviate the problems faced by women. The issues have been identified by the students after interacting with the people of their constituencies. I hope the students are completely ready and excited to showcase the best of their skills. Now, I would like to invite our host, Dr. Vishwa Mohan Bansal, Chairman NDIM, for opening remarks with his words of wisdom. Dr. Bansal is a former civil servant and has been the youngest and the longest serving secretary and principal commissioner to country's biggest statutory urban authority, that is DDA, Government of India, for 17 years. He has led many government delegations to more than 15 countries and was the advisor to the Lieutenant Governor, Delhi. May I request Dr. Bansal for his opening remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you. And at the outside, first of all, I need to thank Mr. Anil Khaitan, our director on the board, who introduced me to the chairperson or to the founder of Womenovator, Tripti ji. And thereafter, of course, all the accolades and gratitude goes to Tripti for being after us, I must say, though we were very keen, but for her persuasion, things wouldn't have taken place. So today is a great event, not only for New Delhi Institute of Management, but I would say for the academy at large in our country and academy at large across the globe. Everybody talks of women empowerment, but we all have to take the first step in that direction. And not the first step, then we have to pursue it in a very, very big way. Because this is again a movement which has to be there in our hearts and it has to be there on the ground also. At our place, after being a part of the Government of India for such a long time, now taking care of education in a small way. At our college, 70% of the leadership positions, 70% are with the women. So this is something very unprecedented in academics. And I must say that wherever NDM stands today, the credit goes to, I would say, the warmth, the attachment, the commitment, the passion of the entire faculty, 70% of which obviously goes to the leadership, which is all women here. So I've seen that in case women take up a cause, they really take it to the logical conclusion. For the information of our chief guest, we're also certified post trainers, prevention of sexual harassment at workplaces. We conduct those trainings very regularly, which are very sought after. So I would request not just the panelists today, because they're all part of us. I request all the people attending this session to please connect with us, because women empowerment is very deep and very dear to our hearts. In whatever way you want to support us, guide us, hold our hand, please come forward. I would be personally attending to it, because we have seen this. I shouldn't be saying something, but we have seen it happening at our house. I'm talking of early 60s, when my mother would tell my father that I don't care for your Bhagwan Ram, because he did not give Agni Pariksha. Who was he to take Agni Pariksha of Sita? So this was happening at our house, I'm telling you, in 50s and 60s, 60 years back. So we have come up, we have been groomed, we have been born into this kind of a tradition and culture. And when this idea came forward, we were very keen to grab it. So I'm very happy. I'll not take more time because so many speakers are there today. In fact, I'll request all the speakers who are going to follow me to please try to confine their words of wisdom to 3 minutes if possible, so that we can hear everybody. So I'll not take more time at all. And even those who are not attending, to whom this word reaches, to please connect with us. It is a duty of all of us to work towards women empowerment in a very big way. I'm very happy and very proud today of this moment. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is always a great pleasure listening to you and to your insightful but a lot analytical opinion. Thank you. Now I would like to invite the founder of Women Innovator, Ms. Tripti Somani Singhal, who is also the CEO of KGS Advisors, and of course my colleague in the Women Empowerment Cell Initiative. Tripti is a TEDx speaker and a chartered accountant by profession. She also happens to be the financial advisor, passionate about supporting other women at MSMEs. And by passion, she has also built up a strong ecosystem integrated with finance, strategy, governance, market validation, and even fundraising assistance. She has significantly contributed towards bringing a change in the government policies and schemes to support the startup community, including the women entrepreneurs. Few breakthrough initiatives funded by Tripti are Rasoi Queen, Queen's 11 cricket team, etc., that have been consistently growing, building strong teams and encouraging women to do more and follow their dreams. Over to you, Tripti.
Thank you so much, Vinay. Thanks a lot for the quick introduction. And I'm really excited of our Women Empowerment Cell launch today. And I would definitely thank Anasa for introducing us to Dr. Bansal, and Dr. Bansal for taking it as if it is his baby. And I can tell you, we have conversation where he's called me at 9 o'clock that Tripti, we have to do this. I mean, I've never seen someone with so much, energy to ensure that for women empowerment. And that's why I'm very proud that Women Innovator today is a community which has mentors who are men, because the kind of focus and the kind of energy, and I have someone very special who is I can just see him now, Dr. Ram Mohan Mishra. Sir, thank you for joining us today. And this man is again another man with a lot of energy, always guiding me through and supporting us in whatever we do. So thank you so much, sir. And I'll not take much time. I know sir has another appointment with Minister, sir. So I can just say that Women Innovator is a virtual incubator for women who has been very focused in helping women entrepreneurs to scale their operation, leaders to grow to be women directors, and social activists to be policy change maker, to contribute, to get together and contribute. Now, why we are coming up with this women empowerment cell? There are so many societies, there are so many efforts already being done by government and different institutions. Why we need something like this in our college? So I would just quickly say India is producing new ideas, business opportunity. The problem is not creating new. The problem is growing them, getting them right scale so that the impact can be felt. Secondly, we have too much information, but the right and required information is important, not the information. People are, they are looking for guidance, they are looking for support, but that support is not reaching because they have 10 information out of which only one is relevant and that get missed. We have technology platform and we need more and more technology platform to accelerate the growth, to ensure the buying and selling of the product and services is very, very important. How to accelerate that particular challenge and issue is should be our key focus. Again, skill training, but to the right and passionate is important. So important is the right resource reaching to the right person if we have limitation of resources. So identifying the right taker is a challenge. We don't have to create new, we have to ensure existing is actually used and promoted. So today with this woman empowerment cell, whatever our ministry and government is eyeing on, it's our duty to ensure that it's reaching to the right people are using it. And finally, we have a huge challenge in hardworking youth who have joined us, but what is important is how they are enabling themselves as critical thinker. That is what we want, a solution, a practical experience for every person who will be joining us in women empowerment cell, to have that practical aspect which they may face after they start their job, to do it right away so that the challenges are not much. With this, I would pass on the mic to Vinay, and I'm really obliged that we have all our dignitaries today, Anil sir, Archana ma'am, Meeta ji, Blossom ma'am, for guiding us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Tripti. And before we proceed, and before I proceed and hand it over to my co-host, Dr. Rinku, I would just like to highlight few facts about Women Innovator as well. So we, as Women Innovator, we have an outreach in 20 countries and in more than 100 plus cities of India with focused 90 plus sectors. And correct me, Tripti, if I'm wrong, that we have already helped women of more than 1,000 plus trusted mentors, with 1,000 plus trusted mentors on board, and 200 plus influencers across India and abroad, with an outreach of more than 10,000 plus women from different parts of the country, and applying for support like mentorship, co-founding, distribution, and investments, etc. And moreover, Women Innovator has also created an Asia Book of Records last year by providing an opportunity to 100 women to pitch their products and services initiatives in 60 seconds on the same platform. Women Innovator has been ranked amongst the top 7 virtual incubators for women entrepreneurs, featured on the Hindu Business Line and Makers Report. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Rinku.
Thank you, Vinay, and thank you, Tripti, for making us aware about Women Innovator. May I now request Mr. Anil Khaitan, Chairman, SNK Group and former President, PhD CCI, to enlighten with his powerful words. Mr. Anil Khaitan, Chairman, SNK Group, attended Vincent High School, Missouri, and thereafter completed his BCom degree and joined Family Businesses 1976. He qualified his MBA from IMI Geneva in the year 1981. He is also a director on the board of NDIM and guiding us in our initiatives. May I request Mr. Khaitan to say a few words to our students and the gathering today? Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Dikshit. Namaskar, Mishra ji, Dr. Bansal, Tripti, Dr. Kochar, Archana ji, Meeta ji, other colleagues and friends. I think it's a great moment, Dr. Bansal, that Women Innovator and NDIM have got together. And here I see a great opportunity where we in the Women Innovator can do great deal of mentorship to your graduating students or the students who are studying and who wants some kind of mentorship. Women Innovator is there. We have experiences from all fields, from all domains, which I think can create a lot of practical value to your graduating students and as well as after they have graduated, they can keep themselves associated, because Womenovator has also started their own e-commerce platform where a lot of products, I think 100 or 150 Tripti knows, they have taken, I mean, they are introducing to the market, and especially of a lot of poor women from the towns and villages, handicrafts, so on and so forth. Anyhow, since all the NDIM students are there, I think all of you must be very proud and very happy to be born Indian, because India to me has a tremendous future with effect from 1st January 2021. We are hardly less than 2 weeks away, because we must understand that the very fact that the per capita consumption of paper or steel or car in India is far lower than per capita consumption of these same products in the developed countries or in China, that itself shows that the market in India is so huge. So basically 5 pillars for India's future. One is our demographic dividend, which we got to harness, skill them, and see if they are actually dividends and they don't become as demographic disasters. Second is, of course, our huge domestic demand, because you would all be surprised to note now that in China, I was reading an article that President Xi Jinping has totally sort of reversed the Chinese policy, and now China is looking towards their villages, towards their small towns, and they are developing them ferociously, and they're trying to create huge domestic demand. So if they have international repercussions like they have just now with the United States, so their domestic economy can support China much more than what it is supporting now. So the same situation is going to come in India, because the government has spent or is spending and is going to spend huge money in the rural infrastructure. They are spending money in tier 3 cities, in towns, and all that is going to come in form of huge demographic demand, domestic demand. Third is our infrastructure, our innovative culture, which we have in our youngsters. And you see the startups now, we are third in the world in startups. And why is that? Because the spirit of entrepreneurship in India is historical. It is predated right from the Mahabharata time. So we have business in our blood. Like in our Marwari community, there is a saying that if a Marwari brokers a business deal between a Scotsman and a Jew, that contract once signed, you will never have to take out again, because it will be a solid implementable contract with the purest of intent. It's,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just a saying. And the fourth pillar, which we in India are really going very fast, and that is technology, and that is digital India. Because the way India is going, and as you saw Mukesh Ambani announce the other day that Reliance Jio will come out with 5G in the last 6 months of next year, I think that's great news, because that will set the whole economy under motion. And the last is our social economic.
Sorry to interfere. Sorry to.
I'm just finishing. Our social economic growth, basically, since I said a lot of money is going into the social growth, like you saw, you know, Swachh Bharat, electricity, LPG, now the agricultural, reform, so on and so forth. So all these are to create demand. So, be very positive, be very optimistic about your country. And it is we, the citizens of India, which is going to make India. Let government make enabling policies, and we Indians have to perform towards our nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. May I now request our chief guest for today's exclusive launch ceremony, Honorable Secretary, Ministry of Women and Child Development, Shri Ram Mohan Mishra ji, to share his ignited thoughts with his words of wisdom. Honorable Secretary Mishra sir has over 30 years of experience as an Indian Administrative Service Officer. He has been CEO of a government company working for promoting and facilitating inclusive growth, entrepreneurship development, climate change adaptation, and sustainable development. Sir, may I request you to say something to our audience? Yeah.
At the outset, my grateful thanks for this invitation. I have a long working relationship with Women Innovator, and I have been a beneficiary actually. In my previous job as Development Commissioner of MSMEs, I enjoyed immense support from this organization. So when I moved on, I thought maybe these invitations may taper off, but I'm so delighted that today again I'm getting this opportunity, Mr. Ketan, Tripti, and this is happening in a setting where there's a management context, and it's very important because when we talk about women, when we talk about gender, it's extremely important that not only we manage certain things and processes, but we also remain aware of the fact of what we should not mismanage. And this is extremely important. As Mr. Ketan was saying, India has so many rich traditions, so many cultural moorings, anchors. And this is the culture where in ancient times it was pronounced, Yatra Narastu Pujante, Ramante Tatra Devata. This was not said to flatter any particular segment. It was said to state the truth and the reality. And there is a logic in it. Because Nari Shakti, one is to develop capacity in terms of empowerment, as we discussed. But the other dimension of this is just to take note of the power which is there. And this is what, when I said not to mismanage, is many times we are not conscious of the certain context. We are not taking note of certain realities. And then what happens? We harm ourselves actually. So when it was said that Yatra Narastu Pujante Ramante Tatra Devata, it was said that if you can benefit from the power of a woman, then so many things can be sorted out. Not only in the business place, but also at home. And where the homes are not sorted out, the businesses also will not be sorted out. So happy homes lead to a vibrant business. Happy homes lead to very stable society and happy people. And this is where what was being said by Mr. Bansal initially. He made very, 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 very wonderful remarks. And that was followed through by Mr. Ketan. When he said that our own models of management, our own models of development have been having so much strength, but somewhere down the line, we have not taken note of those things. Say, for example, our rishis told us that when you chase as a human being, any goal in life. So our dear students who are part of this, just especially for them, because when we are seeking a career, that means we are planning for our life, planning for our future. And this used to be a golden principle, that when you're planning for your life, planning for your future, then don't be lopsided. Always be very, very holistic, and which would mean that life, fulfilled life would mean that you must pursue dharma, arth, kam, and mukti. So these four, if you miss one of them, then there's a problem. And the fourth is very important, because when you set up a business, your orientation, your attitude in life is important. If business is set up with a service attitude, okay, this is, I stand here for giving this to the humanity, for solving these problems for the mankind. Business is there, money will come. It depends on what is your mooring, what is that you're there for. And therefore, mukti is nothing, not going to Himalayas. Mukti means it is not self-centric ideation of business. And this is where the corporate social responsibility, then doing business which is sustainable, taking care of gender, taking care of inclusion, all these things can be handled simultaneously. And if we are looking at issues which are larger than ourselves, ultimately mukti happens. Mukti from what? Mukti from our own self-centric, narrow behavior. Mukti from our self-centric, narrow kind of attitude in life, where we plan in such a way that everything should come back into these pockets. So this is one important thing, particularly for students, because they are not only graduating, they are graduating as young Indians, and they are going to create the future of the country. So Mr. Khaitan mentioned that we in India have so much strength, and the core strength of ours has been, there was a book called Monk Who Sold the Ferrari. So we all know that when the monk sells the Ferrari, whatever little proceeding gets, he comes to Rishikesh. And he comes to Rishikesh to spend some bit of that money after selling that Ferrari. And therefore, my dear young ones, this is extremely important. And this initiative to open a women empowerment cell in a management institute, I think this is a great kind of happening. And I compliment the management of the college, management of the academy, for having taken this wonderful initiative. A mention was made by Mr. Bansal about academia, the contribution of academia. I think that's very important. Many times, when we start discussing the issues and discussing the problems, we don't have deep enough insight into it. And because we don't do proper diagnostics of the issues, and we generalize things. And this is where we miss the point, because until unless we have a complete, deep understanding of an issue, I have seen it 6 by 6 completely, then the solutions will also be only that much. If our insight into an issue is 50% or 25%, then solutions are not going to be 100%. Solutions are going to be only that much. So therefore, this academia connection is extremely important, because that capacity to research, and I would go even further. What I would say is, the research is many times recycling the same kind of information in the mind and drawing some hypothesis and then arriving at some conclusion. Here again, sometimes we have some preconceived notions and we end up testing and trying and then proving those notions. So therefore, a still better approach will be of search. So what is the issue? What is the solution to be found? Then if you are in search of it, then we search it with a very, very pure mind, with a very, very unbiased and very unbiased and then clear mind, which is very important. And this is where the academic institutions, we all grew up there only. Whatever else we do later on, then we all incubated in those places initially, and those memories linger for life. So this phase, when our dear students are graduating, graduation is not a small thing. Graduation is in college or in school or in preschool or wherever. We live in a very secure, safe environment. There are people who are stakeholders who are there to take care. But when we graduate, it is just like the birds who are there in the nest. And then the birds, after rearing them for some time, nurturing them for some time, feeding them for some time, then they take that ultimate step. They say, now you graduate. So what they do? They simple thing. They throw them out of the nest. And that is where the wings open. If the small little one keeps staying in that nest, then the wings will never come into being. The wings will never come. So you all are getting now into the open space, getting into the citizenry with the wings. And as I said, this is a great country, and this is going to be even greater. But as I said, if 50% of our population is not, that power of that population, if you're not harnessing, empowerment is one thing, building capacity is one thing. More important thing is taking note, taking cognizance of the power which is there. And we all know the power of a woman. I mean, I don't have to tell you anything. And particularly when it comes to the gentle, soft power. There was a time when the world used to be a little more physical, and there used to be differentiation between men and women in terms of ratio of power. But the technology has made it possible for that difference to go. So there is no difference even in the physical world. But when we get little more subtle, then we all know that the intuitive power, the power to feel, power to perceive, power to know so many things, just like that, it is there. And that power to take care, power to share, power to dream, power to construct, power to create, recreate. I'm not saying the men don't have it. Men also have it, but women have a clear advantage. And when we are seeking higher dimensions of well-being, when we are seeking higher fulfilled life, and then the subtle things are important. And because gross takes us only up to a point. Beyond that, it has no possibility. And when we are moving into India of its own potential, I think it's important we equally chase these softer elements of life, the higher quality elements of life, higher aspects of life. Even in Western world, Maslow defined them as up to self-actualization. I would say not only in the management principles we are taught self-actualization, but in the society, when we are talking about actualization of a society, this soft power, this very, very immense power, which many times we may miss it. So as a nation, if we can take full note of this potential, then take all those measures like you have taken. Tripti was talking about mentorship. Mr. Ketan also mentioned. It's extremely important because many times women can make so much of huge contribution, but they may not be aware. And that awareness of the power of women to the woman, I think is extremely important because many times they must have forgotten what is that I can do. So that remembrance itself is creating capacity. And this is where, since it is in the context of an academic institution, I would urge the demystification of the content is very important. Because many times when we are creating awareness, creating knowledge, sharing knowledge, then it is in very, very intellectual mode, technical mode. It has to be demystified. When we're talking about gender, when we're talking about these higher dimensions of life, then the empathy element is very important because that sensitivity, that capacity to feel, that is more important. And this is where I very fondly recall some of the programs which I attended, organized by Women Innovator. Woman and Innovator together, as I understood, was Women Innovator. And there's so much work which they have done. And I wish you all very well. That just like the rich tradition of your great work which you have been doing, may you continue. And in this ministry, I am even more grateful that this context which you are creating, Women Empowerment Cell, I think I would say that cell should become a molecule and then more, and then it should be a complete perfect body, and then it should become very, very vibrant network. And therefore, I'll urge upon Mr. Bansal. He has so much of experience in the administration and governance. I'll urge upon him that people who have the willingness and capacity to invest in this form of nation building, if we can start networking with them and bring them all on the same platform, then academia in this country, if we can just bring all of them together. So research, search, innovation, action research, operational research, these are very important. Many solutions we know, but we start doing pilots. Now we should gather a little more courage and say, no, this we know for sure, and let's do operational research. So when you, dear students, when we are graduating, I congratulate you for this this achievement, this excellence, and like to share my best wishes for you to continue to excel. As I said, the future of the country is on shoulders of all of you young men, women, and particularly women, because I've already spoken enough as to why I'm saying so. And in whatever way we can collaborate in the days to come, I'll be most delighted. And I like to look forward. In fact, so many things have been listed here, all those presentations are going to be made. I would have been very delighted to sit through, but I'll have to carry on. But I would look forward to whatever is discussed in this program. I would look forward to know it all, and then whatever processes and ideas are getting generated. This will be immense help to me to upscale them at the national level. So with that feeling and request, I once again express my heartfelt gratitude for this very, very important invitation which I got, and look forward to similar opportunities in the days to come. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Before Rinku, you take over, I need to formally and very warmly thank the chief guest, not only because he could spare time, not only that he continues to remember the support from Women Innovator, but for the new ideas and the guidance he has given to all of us, for very kind words that is willing to support all new initiatives, new researches, new ideas into this. So I'll certainly, respected Mishra Saab, we will, I don't say take this challenge, but I can only say that students at NDIM are very, very keen to pursue every possible thing that comes around them on women empowerment. And since you are now heading the ministry, and I would say heading the country's policies and tasks into this very direction, we expect all the guidance and support from you, and I'm sure working together we'll be able to do something more than what's being done all this time. We'd love to be working with you and love to be taking your guidance and taking things to much, much, much bigger level in the coming days, because we're deeply committed to this cause of women empowerment. Thank you very, very much for your words of assurance, your words of guidance, and your words of support in the coming days.
Thank you, sir. I would now call upon the Prime Minister of the NDIM Constituent Assembly over the podium to Ms. Priyanshi Srivastava, who's our NDIM student and will take women empowerment activities forward at NDIM. She is the President of the NDIM Constituent Assembly. Priyanshi, would you please take over?
Thank you so much, ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. My name is Priyanshi Srivastava, and I have been designated as the President of Women Innovator Club for this year. It's my immense pleasure to be here and speak a few words and throw some light on initiatives. Women in our society is a strong word, but they didn't have a strong position as compared to the male gender. The reason is lack of exposure, courage, and support. A number of women have been doing great and are inspiration to other people out there, but they didn't get a right platform to share their glories. Hereby, Women Innovator provides us a platform to speak and come up with their outshining work, which do inspire others. A woman is a nation builder, a woman is a future. Standing with the women and for the women is what Women Innovator is actually initiating. Reason why women empowerment came into light was gender inequality, domestic violence, and women's education. Due to male-dominating society, women didn't get a chance to outshine, but now women are empowered. As they know the worth, they know that they're nonetheless. Women play an important role in society and they have equal rights. Earlier and even now, a number of women are not given appropriate chance to get educated, due to which they do not become economically strong. The situations now are improving because quality education are being provided, as if now women are educated, empowered, and fighting their own battles of equality. From a female to a feminist, it's been a long journey that every woman have been survived and stronger. Rani Lakshmibai is a huge example of women being strong and rigid when it comes to battle on field and battle in real life, that is reaching goals. Being extraordinary and leaving the legacy is all what strong women are doing. And every one of us is stronger. All what is required is courage. Courage can do wonders, and we need to remember that it all starts with me. Apart from being beautiful, we are builders, builder of a country, a builder of a state, and a builder of a familia. I would like to conclude with a quote: woman with a voice is by definition a strong woman, but the search to find the voice is remarkably difficult. We together at Womennovator is sorting the chaos, and with every small bit of ours, we can aim at heights. With this, I would like to hand it over to the Prime Minister, Muskan Bansal. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanshi. Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Muskan Bansal, and I've been designated as the Prime Minister of Womennovator Constituent Assembly. So I would like to throw some light on women power in the society and how women can contribute in building the nation. I would like to start by stating a quote: "A strong woman will not only build her family, but also a nation, provided she is supported and praised." The support of a family and society plays a vital role in women empowerment. The states we have chosen are already progressing, but somewhere there are few people who are still against progressive women. There is a wave of startups and young people are trying to make something on their own. I won't say it's completely positive, but there is a ray of hope. It's tough to be an entrepreneur. Be it a women entrepreneur, it's even tougher. There is a fight at every step. As we have seen young girls selling utensils around our houses, these girls have an amazing potential to convince the buyers to buy their products. Just due to lack of awareness and education, these talented women are lacking behind. So why to restrict their talent till here? We can put their hidden talent in more appropriate way, as these young girls have ideas, grit, commitment, as well as potential to do wonders. They just need a right platform to showcase their hidden talent. So we can be the bridge between them and their dreams, as these girls have their own ideas, areas where they sell their products. We can make them engage with the manufacturers and various women selling products from their homes via various social media and WhatsApp, and can ask them to sell the products in those areas where there is little or no access to the internet. And if these women have their own products to sell in the market and just need a proper recognition and platform to showcase their talent, we can help them in providing so. For this, we can organize campaigns in the cities, districts, and can ask these women to get themselves enrolled with us. By this, we can form a group of women having the same interest. With this, women will be encouraged to engage themselves in startups to realize their hidden dreams and passion of working in different fields. From advisory to funding, women will be exposed to right windows through these initiatives. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Khan. Now I would like to invite the Education Minister, Sakshi Verma.
A very good evening to everyone. My name is Sakshi and I'm representing Ministry of Education. I would like to start with a very beautiful quote. If you educate a man, you educate an individual. But if you educate a woman, you educate a nation. As a Ministry of Education, my main aim is to ensure equitable access to quality education for all our citizens so that their potential is fully realized. As 70% of the population of India stay in rural areas, I want to provide the facility of education to women who stay in rural areas. To implement this idea, we can make some education centers in these areas where we can teach them through the recorded video lectures or live lectures of teachers through VR, who will voluntarily teach them. To find the volunteers, we can promote this idea through social network. But the major challenge of remote learning is disparity in access, from electricity and internet connections to devices like computer or smartphones. So to resolve this problem, we shall collaborate with blue chip companies where, as a part of their CSR initiatives, they can help the government to install Wi-Fi or short studio classroom in various panchayats. Through this, we can provide education to every woman of India to make them more independent and empowered. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sakshi. Now I would like to invite Ritima Jana, the MSME Minister.
A very good evening, everyone. I am Ritama Jana, and it gives me immense pleasure to announce myself as the Cabinet Minister of VSEL MSME sector. India's MSME sector is the largest in the world after China. Male entrepreneurs in the country contributes to 50 million threshold, while women entrepreneurs constitute only 14%. But despite having limited resources and lesser opportunities, women entrepreneurs from rural areas have shown immense potential in the MSME sector. government has also introduced various schemes to strengthen women involvement in the entrepreneurship segment. And to name some, we have Stand Up India scheme for women entrepreneurs in SC/ST category, Mudra Yojana, Annapurna scheme for women in food catering business. But these schemes are not properly known by the entrepreneurs. So this is the mission of WECell MSME sector, to provide awareness about these schemes and key announcements made by government. We will be recording video series of 2 to 3 minutes on government schemes and promote these series. We will be collaborating with Indian TikTok Mitro. We will be having a tie-up with Ministry of Skill Development for providing required training and skill upgradation to women entrepreneurs with innovative ideas. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ritima. Now I would like to invite the Finance Minister, Priya Singh.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Priyanshi. My name is Priya Singh, and I am representing the Ministry of Finance. When it comes to balancing gender equality, finance has simply not kept pace. Women are a minority of employees as well as financial service users. 25% of women in India do not have access to financial services, and 42% of women in India are dormant in using financial services, especially the rural women. Improving rural women access to finance is crucial for their economic and social empowerment, as well as for supporting the well-being and development of their households and communities. Financial literacy is crucial for understanding what financial products and services there are and how they work, as well as to keeping informed about one's right as a client. But how do we do that? To improve financial literacy amongst women in the rural sector, we are planning to collaborate with social activists to run a campaign on how to open bank accounts and how to perform online transactions. All in all, these efforts should aim to ensure that by increasing rural women access to finance, their empowerment and well-being are likewise strengthened, because a woman's best protection is a little money of her own. Thank you.
Well, thank you, young leaders. Your passion is truly inspiring. So moving ahead, I would like to invite our next guest, Ms. Archana Gupta, who happens to be the board member and non-executive director, KEI Industries Limited, to speak a few words to motivate the young leaders, the students of NDIM, and the leaders of Womennovator WECell. Over to you, Ms. Archana.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening,
Yeah, good evening. Women Empowerment Cell, what I think and what I believe in, because we have to have this cell everywhere, wherever we work on, because I myself is a woman, and after graduating from Sophia College, Bombay, I was so defocused, I was not knowing where to go and how to work, So then we need a practical training, So I joined my husband, and he empowered me with everything like a woman needs, So I started the work culture in the office. I created my own website. I created all the HR division, everything, So mine is a practical experience. So I can say everybody should, all the women, those who are empowered, like the young students coming out of the college, they are all theoretical knowledge they are with, but they have to have a practical training. So training ke liye you have to empower them to take a training from whomsoever can mentor them and give them the training to run a show. So the empowering is must for them.
Thank you so much, Archana ji. I think it's such a pleasure to have you, Shell. I think you have missed out the important, the kind of efforts you've put in to bring a sick company to today. KEI is a big, 5,000 crore company, but the way you have brought the stainless steel department from where it was to to a scale. I mean, it was commendable. So I think, and even the Queen's T20 Women's Cricket League, what you thought about and the way you're empowering women is commendable. Thank you so much for your for your inputs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for inspiring all of us. And thank you for endorsing training and development. It is always a happy moment for trainers like me when someone endorses training and development in an open forum. So moving ahead, moving over to our young leaders again, may I now call upon our students, the Minister of Social Justice, Mr. Chirag Taneja, to give his plans on women empowerment in India. Over to you, Chirag.
Thank you so much. Good evening, everyone. So it's an immense pleasure that I've got a great opportunity from the Women Innovator Cell that I'm here to represent Ministry of Social Justice. I would really like to thank Women Innovator Cell to give me an opportunity to be the Minister of Social Justice. So I, as a Minister of Social Justice, would like to collaborate with all the NGOs and all the educational institutes so that they can just help me create an awareness among all those women who have been backward and uplifted and are somewhere illiterate and not aware about their basic social, cultural, and economic rights. I, as a Minister of Social Justice, would like to create a women aid cell that will collaborate with the Women Innovator, where all those women who have been harassed by their male counterparts or are facing any sort of domestic violence, so to create an awareness about their basic harassment and to have an equitable justice and respect and stand in the society. So I would like to create a women aid cell that will preferably focus on creating awareness among the women about their rights and about their basic stand in the judiciary, that they can have a stand in the judiciary and fight for their basic rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Chirag. I now call upon the Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Pradyot Chatterjee, to share his plans. Over to you, Pradyot.
Thank you, sir. A very good evening to all the present here. I'm Pradyot Chatterjee, representing the Ministry of Agriculture. I will start with a known slogan, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, of former Prime Minister of Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri. Agriculture is a pillar of Indian economy. Till date, Indian agriculture is facing lots of problems. In everyday's newspaper, we found suicide news of farmers. Today, I am putting some lights on few problems which the farmers are facing and also the feasible solutions. According to the research by Forming First with the FAO Gender Department, on average 43% of the agriculture labor force in India is women. The research also showed that a rural woman typically works longer than a man. Unfortunately, when they don't know use of modern machineries in agricultural land, and also they don't know what type of seeds and vegetables are to be cultivated in their land to gain more profit from it. So I may suggest launching a campaign to the accustomed women farmers to the proper use of modern machineries. And for the second problem, we can visit their land and taste the soil. Then we can suggest them to use what kind of seeds and fertilizer and what type of procedure they should follow to grow more crops and gain more profit. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Pradyot, for sharing your thoughts. Now, I call upon the Minister of Environment and Climate Change, Ms. Vishwani Lamba, to share her plans. Over to you, Vishwani.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Vishwani Lamba. I'm the Cabinet Minister of the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. The issue which needs attention the most is the rising greenhouse gas emissions. Greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, and fluorinated gases. One of the solutions to this problem is smart grids. Smart grids integrate solar energy and wind energy, and thus becoming the most efficient renewable resource for transmission of electricity. Agriculture is also responsible for around 16% of India's greenhouse gas emissions. The promotion of lower methane emission rice production, crop diversification away from rice, chemical-free farming projects should be done to lower carbon emissions. Women play a crucial role in climate change adaptation and mitigation. Women have the knowledge and understanding of what is needed to adapt to changing environmental conditions and to come up with practical solutions. But they are still a largely untapped resource. Lack of access to financial resources, training, and technology often prevent them from playing a full role in tackling climate change and other environmental challenges. We at Women Innovator will provide women the opportunity to bring a nationwide change by contributing to the environment. Thank you.
Thank you, Vishwani. Now I would like to invite one of our guests, Ms. Smita Sen Gupta, founder of the Center of Education Strategy, a think tank that builds bridges between policy and practice for the education sector. May I request Ms. Smita to address the gathering. Over to you, Ms. Smita.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you very much. It's such a pleasure to hear young voices building the future of the nation. And as they do that, I can first, of course, applaud them and encourage them to actually think better, faster, smarter, and deeper. Because the problems that you have defined are definitely macro problems. But the problems that we women face are both at the macro level, but they get tested at the micro level. So I'm just going to talk about very, very briefly about 3 leaps that women have to make when they start their entrepreneurship journey. Because entrepreneurship, whether it is political, whether it is in business, or whether it is an act of leadership and personal leadership, is an act of taking risk. But we here are students of management, and we know that the act of management is about professionalizing that risk taking. So how do you make that leap? There are 3 leaps that I just would like you to consider in your work. 1, from the personal to the professional. 2, from putting your family first to putting your business first. What are you about? What role are you playing? What identity do you hold? And how you manage those multiple identities. It's not that men don't have multiple identities to manage, but women feel the pressure to engage with one identity more than the other. So finding that balance. And the third is from moving from projects to your own sense of power and owning your own power. That does not mean that you are not without faults. But the minute you are aware and comfortable with your own flaws, comfortable with your own faults, and comfortable with what you really can achieve, that is when you own your own power. You're not afraid of asking for help then, and you're not afraid of reaching out to ministers. You're not afraid of reaching out to and designing grand projects as you students are doing right now to build futures that are much more equitable. Because India's dream is 5 trillion and much, much more beyond that. But we don't want to grow the way we have grown in the past with so much inequity. Lead with women, and we will be growing the way we should be growing in a much more ideal manner. I wish you all the best. This cell deserves so much success. Be so successful that everybody wants to replicate your success. Good luck.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for truly inspiring us. And I truly like that eye-opening point, which you talked about self-realization and real-life role plays, which is very important for all of us. Thank you. Moving ahead, I would like to invite Dr. Blossom Kocher, founder of Aroma Magic, to share her delightful thoughts with all of us. Over to you, Dr. Kocher.
Yeah, so it's wonderful to be here. And it's really so wonderful to hear all the young people, and of course, Dr. Bansal, Meeta, and also Deepti. I mean, it was wonderful. And I think this project that you all have got is really going to be a big success. And I wish it all the very best. And I'm so happy to be in this project because, like I love to say, is when I started my business also, I found that I also was looking for where I could get, some advice, something for me to do, but to advise me. And there was nothing like this. And then, when I came across Womanavator later on, like when I joined it, I thought this was the best thing ever for women, because women definitely, they do need all the help and all the guidance that they can get to stand up, because they have it in them, they have the passion in them, they have the power in them, but they just need that little extra guidance. And that is where, Womanavator comes in, and the cell that is there that is going to do good. Like, another thing is education. I'd like to tell everyone, you all have got super ideas and it's fantastic. Education and is very, very important. But what I have also, now we deal with people who are, of course, a lot of them come to us who have already done their college and MBA and others and go into this. I've got it's a health and beauty college that we have, and also the products that are there. And the people who come in there, most of them, they have no education. And what happens when they learn, then they go out and they're able to do their own business. And it's really good, because what do we all learn for? What are we all educated for? One thing, it's to earn money. And to earn money, I think we really need to be guided on what to do and how to do it, on finance, on management, on communication, on soft skills, so that we can, it's not that the education and what, it has to be also, like Archana was saying, and that it has to be practical knowledge. And I think this cell is going to help a great deal in guiding all the students on how to go about it, because you already have your theory, which is fantastic. And apart from that, you need to have the practical, and that's where this cell will come in. And I wish you all the best, and I hope it grows from, leaps and bounds. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kocher, for truly ignited words of wisdom. And thank you for emphasizing on the point of purpose of life, that what to do and how to do is really important for all of us. And we should surely self-introspect for that. Calling our leaders again, now I would like to call upon the Chief Minister of Bihar, Ms. Aditi Kumari, to share her plans with all of us. Over to you, Aditi.
Thank you so much, sir. Good evening, everyone. I am Aditi, and I am here to represent myself as the Chief Minister of Bihar. So, as the Chief Minister, the main area which I think needs to be focused in Bihar is unemployment. Because if I talk about the unemployment in Bihar, it is even greater than the national unemployment rate of around 23.5%. And in year 2020, this unemployment in Bihar increases by 31.2 percent points, which rose by 46.6%. And if I talk about women exclusively, the average female workforce participation rate in Bihar is just 2.8%, which is lowest among all the states. So looking after all these issues, my key focus will be on creating the unemployment in the state by providing different skill development training to the women. And also my focus will be on enhancing their digital literacy levels to those women who are willing to start their own business. And even if they don't have any idea to start their business, but have the willingness to work, then I will help them in providing a platform where they can use their skills, like www.womenmark.com is a platform which is already created to help the women to grow their business. This project will help in following different ways, like help in reducing the poverty rate in Bihar, women empowerment, the major area, and lastly, contribution to the development of the state as well. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Aditi. I now call upon the Chief Minister of Rajasthan, Ms. Naina Dhingra, to share her plans with all of us. Over to you, Naina.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Naina Dhingra. I'm representing the Chief Minister of Rajasthan. As a part of Women Empowerment Cell, my concern is regarding the rights of women and the crime against the women in Rajasthan. In Rajasthan, the female literacy rate is just 52%, whereas the male literacy rate is 79%. The female literacy rate of Rajasthan is very low, even lower than states which have overall lower literacy rate, because still in traditional villages, girls' education is not encouraged. This needs to be improved. My another concern is women's safety. According to the current data, Rajasthan has reported highest number of rape rates. This issue needs a strict action. Analyzing these problems, I have come up with some solutions. We will encourage the companies to collaborate with the NGOs, and we will help them to do their CSR activity. And we
it's okay. I think we can go to the next person.
Yeah, I think she might have faced some technical challenges. So moving ahead, I would now like to call upon the Chief Minister of Delhi, Ms. Ananya Mittal, to share her plans. Over to you, Ananya.
Hello everyone, I am Ananya and I have been designated as the Chief Minister of Delhi. In Delhi, there are many problems, but my project is basically laid out under two main problems that people of Delhi are facing. First is the Gazipur dumping area and second is the Yamuna River pollution. So over 140 lakh tons of waste has been collected since 1984 that lies in the Gazipur landfill, leading to hazardous living conditions with the toxic air, contaminated water for people living in the areas nearby like Kaushambi, Kalyanpuri, Gazipur. Also, due to the poor management of EDMC, the fire broke out at the garbage dump at Gazipur last month, due to which the air quality index and the pollution level went up and the entire East Delhi was filled with the smoke which leaves the people in the city choking. So what I'll do is I'll contact the corporates and ask them to collect the waste from Gazipur, crush them and make a new or recyclable products out of them. Also, the other point will be the proper planning needs to be done even for the projects that will be in managing waste. Like it is not right to create a sanitary landfill along the banks of Yamuna River because apart from being illegal, such a facility is an environmental disaster. The Yamuna River floodplain should not be a sacrificial goat that fulfills the short-sightedness of the development needs. Thank you.
Thank you, young leaders. May I now take this opportunity to invite and introduce our special distinguished guest, Mrs. Madhuri Sahasrabudhe, who's joined us today to bless our students. Mrs. Sahasrabudhe has been socially inclined and righteous. She participated in the Assam Andolan in 1983. At the age of 30, she started a school, Shai Yari Vidya Niketan, for tribal children in Itanagar, Arunachal Pradesh, imparting quality education to hundreds of tribal students. In Guwahati, to help the women suffering under drunk husbands and victimized by Ulfa, she started an NGO, Swayampoon, which set up self-help groups in the handloom industry to make them self-reliant. During her tenure as Principal Air Force School, Chandanagar, she won the Best Principal Award by Rotary Club for introducing innovative teaching methods and special learning track for LD and special children. Today, Madhuri is focused on integrating India's border states more tightly. She has launched Foundation for Holistic Development in Academic Field to work primarily with students from Jammu and Kashmir. Her endeavor, Mothers on Wheels, Delhi to London by car. She and 3 other mothers drove from Delhi to London, meeting and discussing with mothers from a wide range of cultures, establishing the world's first community of global mothers. She was conferred Nari Shakti Swarupa Award by the UP Government Tourism Department and Adarsh Mahila Award by Legal Rights Council India. She is currently working on the project Shiv Tandav Stotram to reinvigorate Sanskrit roots in our families. May I request Mrs. Sahasrabudhe to kindly bless our students. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Rinku Dikshit, for introducing me in such a detailed way. It is really so good actually to listen to your students. I'm listening to your students, the ministers and the chief ministers, and it's overwhelming response actually from the students and the way they are thinking. I'm thinking that they are in the right direction of developing this nation. From my side, I would like to tell women empowerment is not given by anybody. It is already there in India, actually. We don't need that somebody will come and empower us. We are empowered. I think the Bihar minister, chief minister, whoever was speaking, that girl, she was speaking about 2% women are employed and she needs to work something for that. The empowerment is not only with the money. That is what I wanted to tell, because those are the mothers, those are the homemakers. And homemakers and mothers, they have a lot of responsibility actually creating the future generations of this nation, upon which the whole nation's future is depending on. And they are actually the pillars of this nation. That is what I feel. And that is why, though in our system, we are not calculating their efforts at household work, whatever they work, in the farms, whatever they work, it is not calculated in the GDP. And that is why we feel that leaving the house and going out and earning the money itself is only empowerment. I think we have to rethink about that. At the age of 50, I think I decided to come out of the house and start doing a lot of things. And it is there actually, from Delhi to London, the journey. Then connecting those 1,200, 1,400 ladies in this Corona Kal virtually. From 82 years lady, now she is connected with us and she is the group leader, and she knows how to operate the mobile, how to operate how to create the links, how to share those links, how to share the Google link, Google Sheet, how to fill the attendance on that. So at the age of 82, if that lady can do so many things itself, if we're given opportunity, all the ladies are capable. So we have to believe on that. We have to believe on their capabilities. We have to believe on their, and we have to just do the confidence building. And for that, my organization, we are doing a lot of things actually with the women. Whatever is existing in the woman, we are trying to bring it out. And that's all. Wish you all the very best for the students of your university, your college. And many, many thanks to Dr. Bansal for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. So thank you very much. Dhanyawad.
No, thank you. Before you, Madhuri, before you exit, I just want to tell everybody that what she has mentioned and the way she has been introduced is just too very small, because I have seen what she has done. In fact, I've seen it only in the last about 2 years. And the last event that of hers which I attended, the Vice President of India was there, the current Vice President. And I would tell you, I saw the Vice President crying and in tears at that event, at the work being done by the mothers. So I'll just leave it that. I wanted you to be here today so that the Women Innovator and all our students, the women leaders, they pick up the courage, further courage and further support and further guidance from you. Thank you very much for coming to us at such a short notice. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bansal sir, for inviting Madhuri ji. It's a great privilege to hear her. Thank you.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am. May I now request another woman corporate leader, Ms. S. Yamini Krishnan. She is Senior Director HR in IQVIA, an American multinational company serving the combined information. Request ma'am to kindly share her views on today's theme. Yamini ma'am. Ms. Yamini Krishnan.
Yeah, hi, good evening. I'm really glad to be part of this initiative and the event today. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts and also being part of this panel at a very short notice. Firstly, I do have to admit and mention that it was very interesting and inspiring to see the entire student workforce talking about such insightful initiatives, and it's wonderful to see their thought process in terms of understanding what is the requirement for today's women and how they can actually succeed as entrepreneurs, and even if they have to move into a corporate world. So I think as you mentioned, I come from the IQVIA works in healthcare consulting, and we work very closely with even government on certain of healthcare initiatives that they do. IQVIA has about 14,000 employees in India, and I handle Africa, Middle East, and South Asia. So it's been a great honor and pleasure to listen to all the students. For me, empowering women has been a topic and an initiative which is very close to my heart on a personal basis, because I come from a background of very, I would say, a lower middle class family when I started out. due to various situations, had the situation of probably getting married very early, had to complete my graduation after my marriage, complete the post graduation after my son was born. But what has really helped me continue my corporate journey is the ability and adaptability with which I had to pursue my dreams of continuing this entire journey of being a professional. For me, women empowerment is very important because we do believe in making sure that people come on board with the similar interest and attitude while we here. Gender equality has been one of the important focuses for us when we hire. Another important aspect that we do focus on is to sustain the growth for these women to continue in their careers. Because for my 22 years of service, what I've noticed is quite a few of our women employees do tend to lose out or do tend to miss out or probably step back and take a put a pause in their careers at some point or the other due to various professional or personal reasons or family reasons. For me, it has been one of the initiatives where I've constantly helped people to come back to work, and also making sure that whoever has any kind of a difficulty in continuing their careers, to ease their path and making sure that they are not giving up midway. That has been one of the in, initiatives that I've been focusing on as part of my corporate journey. Another part that I also look at is how do we build women in leadership roles. I do work across all the three regions that I focus and work on, where we make sure that people, especially women, reach into the leadership levels based on their capabilities, competencies, and their abilities. This is not a checklist item for us at all, because a lot of organizations do believe in gender equality, but probably work on it more like a checklist to make sure that they have a gender presence. But we have consciously built our women leaders, and that has been one of my interest areas. And for me, again, gender equality or women empowerment is not something which we do it on paper. uh, it is not about just inclusion, but making sure that giving them a seat at the table has been one conscious decision which I work very closely with the leadership teams. So uh, on the personal front, I do work with a lot of groups within our organization IQVIA. We do focus on women related initiatives. I head and manage initiatives like Women Inspired Network, which focuses on helping women cope up with their corporate journeys, balancing both personal and professional lives. We also started something called HBA, that is Healthcare Business Women's Association Ambassadorship. This is a global organization. Out of 14,000 employees, we identified about 28 ambassadors to represent and drive this initiative of empowering women in India in leadership roles. So it's been an interesting journey. I would say whether you are an entrepreneur or an innovator or a corporate employee, uh, being sure about what you want to achieve, making sure you work on your goals and continue to adapt and change as per the needs is going to be very critical for each and every one of you, especially the students who are starting out their journey. The transition that you make, I'm already seeing so many bright spots in terms of people who are thinking about what they can do, how they want to implement, and what they need to plan and what they need to do. But you need to take this into your corporate. The campus to corporate journey is going to be very important. I would really like to mention, do not give up the focus on the way. It's not going to be an easy journey, especially for women. We are constantly competing not only within ourselves, we are competing with everybody else, and we are competing with all the other women leaders who are going to be there in this journey with us. Make sure that compete on the right forum, don't compare and lose out hope, and more importantly, don't give up this journey in the middle of the path. That is going to be very, very critical. A lot of challenges would come, ups and downs are bound to happen. For us, especially as women, we go through a lot of challenges, and I would say steps on the way. But make sure you take a pause if required, but continue the journey without stopping it. Reaching your goals, I do believe nobody has a right and nobody has the ability to stop you if you want to achieve those goals and destiny. Wishing each and every one of you a very bright future and a great journey, especially all the women. Make sure you make the difference and enjoy your future careers and entrepreneurships. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Yamini. Thank you so very much. Stay connected with us. We are going to have more of you with
Absolutely.
us. Thank you so very
Absolutely, sir.
much
Thank you so much, Dr.
for
Bansal.
volunteering to come to this platform. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ms. Krishnan, for highlighting the beautiful journey. And you're surely a reference person of inspiration for those who are looking forward to go into the corporate world. And yes, you rightly said that no one can stop us from reaching to our goals. And that is why Swami Vivekananda once quoted that arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. So moving further, I would now like to call upon our students again. And now I would like to call upon the Minister of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Mr. Vivek Mudgal, to share his plans.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Vivek Mudgal, and I am representing Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. India is to upskill the younger generation and women with respect to the opportunities available in the local region. The pandemic pushed the immigrants back to their place of birth, forced tens of millions of workers from urban and industrial areas in cities, towns across the country. About 150 million have got displaced from work. The most vulnerable demographic that has been ignored are the children of these migrating adults. We will bridge the gap between the young talent industry and meet the demand for a strong, competent, and workforce building a better working world. So the entrepreneurship and skill development cell, the business ideas of people will come into effect with the training and skills provided and with the help of MSME. Thank you.
Yeah, Vinay, go on. Vinay, we can.
Yeah. Oh. Now I call upon our student, Minister of Corporate Affairs, Ms. Varsha Dhingra, to share her thoughts.
Warm good evening to everyone. My name is Varsha and I am representing Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is an Indian government ministry which is concerned.
Personal message. Sorry for that.
Okay. Good evening everyone. My name is Varsha and I am representing Ministry of Corporate Affairs. Ministry of Corporate Affairs is an Indian government ministry which is concerned with Companies Act. It is mainly responsible for regulating function of corporate affair with accordance of company law. In company law, we are facing problem that is lack of initiatives towards deserving women. We will take strong initiatives towards deserving women. We will make sure about compliance or provision of company law. With this step, women get chance to grab optimistic opportunity in the companies. Also, we conduct seminar for women to enhancement their corporate knowledge and conduct development program that they can establish their own business venture. Moreover, we will give emphasis on CSR women empowerment activity. Till the now activity is not mandatory for the companies. Company may provide funds or may not. We will make sure this activity will become mandatory for the specified companies. After that, we will also maintain proper record of qualification of women in data bank like IIC agency, Indian Institute of Corporate Affairs. We create separate agency where women put their whole data and we will able to get opportunity for them. In the last, I would like to conclude with the one statement. We can move one step ahead for the women with all these factors. Thank you.
Thank you, Varsha. I now call upon our student, Minister of Women and Child Development, Ms. Atmaja Swain, to share her plans. Over to you, Atmaja.
Thank you, Vinay sir. Good evening, everyone. Hope you are doing well and had lunch. What the lady of the house prepared. I, Atmaja Swain, with Ministry of Child and Women Development will be focused on gender sensitivity. Gender sensitivity can be seen as the awareness-informed tendency to behave in a manner which is sensitive to gender justice and gender equality issues. Indian society has numerous preconceived notions about gender roles. The problem is not only limited to women. Because of existing prejudice in our society, the inclusion of non-binary genders has been largely limited as well. The ministry is working on spreading awareness of gender sensitization. Government of India has introduced a gender sensitization module for class 11th and 12th of Kendriya Vidyalayas in collaboration with KV Sangathan. Our idea is to start from the basic and to teach the primary school students to be independent. And for that, we need to teach the teachers first. Gender parity is not just good for women, it's good for the society. To start with, if you are a man of the house, cook the dinner tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, young leaders. Sorry, Vinay.
Thank you, Dr. Rinku. And I hope we all heard the students very carefully. We listened to them, and I would just like to mention one very important thing, that all the credit in mentoring and preparing these students to come to a precision level to their vision goes to my colleague in the Women Innovators Cell, Ms. Simi Puri. And I would request, before we proceed with the further proceedings of the event, I would request Simi to share her thoughts now. Over to you, Simi.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much. I think the students have done commendably well. The efforts are theirs, not ours. And Vinay and Tripti and the entire team of Women Innovator and the NDIM faculty members have been instrumental in making this happen. But the journey has just begun. And as you graduate and move to the real world, the only way to smash the glass ceiling, be it personal, professional, or political, is to acquire the right skills, the right attitude, be ready to take risks, and be resilient. The seeds are sown as we speak. Women are becoming assertive and brave. And we at WeCell are here to nudge you, to handhold you, and guide you through the empowerment journey. Back to you, Vinay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Simi, and I completely echo your thoughts. And this is something which is also a point of inspiration for me in person as well. Thank you, Simi. Over to you, Dr. Rinku.
Thank you, Vinay. Thank you so much. Participants, the floor is now open for question and answers. Okay, so we have the first question, and the question is for Blossom ma'am. According to you, what skills are required for young women to be successful in today's global business world? Blossom ma'am, Dr. Blossom?
Yeah, hello. Yes, the first thing I'd say is that they need to have a passion. They need to want to get there. So that is something. First, they need to have a passion. Next, they have to have the correct attitude. And I feel they have to have an attitude that whatever difficulty they have, they really are going to, a positive attitude. That's what I say, that even if they find they cannot, like I always say, if there's a brick wall and they find they can't go through it, they should have this positive attitude. They feel that they should go around it and never ever give up. So this is really what they need, and they have to have that correct attitude, passion, and a thing of never giving up. This, if they have, they can succeed anywhere, whatever skill they want to do.
Thank you. I must appreciate, yes, we all agree that these are certain traits that people need, and ladies, especially women, need to excel in their lives. Thank you so much, ma'am. The next question we have.
Rinku, you can ask this question from other panelists also. It's very important. Let everybody give their half a minute to 1 minute brief onto this.
Right, very true, sir, very true. Can I ask the other panelists also to throw some light on this question which has come from the audience? What skills are required for young women to be successful in today's global business world? Can I request the other panelists to kindly throw some?
I think I can simply add saying that the continuity, continuous effort is something which is very, very, very important. And I think the negotiation skills will really help you. And hard times will come, but you will have to be as hard as possible. So I think this is what I feel is very important: continuity, continuous effort. It's okay, whatever it. Our next is keep working on what you want to achieve. Thank you.
Well, I would say something differently. I feel skills we have. Just have the confidence and be there. Just be brave. Don't keep perfecting yourself. Skills we have. Just be there.
I mean, amazing advice from all the panelists. So the only thing I can add is remember, be tough on issues, but be soft on people. So be kind to yourself also and back yourself up. Be your own advocate. But when it comes to issues, when it comes to technical issues, be very tough on them. You can't get away without knowing the technical details, without working hard and knowing more than just the first level or second level of questions. Push yourself harder on technical issues, but be soft on people.
Right. Thank you so much. Anybody else who would like to say something? Okay, so the next question is for Tripti ji. Could you please name a few schemes for women entrepreneurs in MSME sector in India?
So I think Stand Up India scheme, which should be is the bank scheme under which you can get loans, is something which they can Google about. Another important scheme I keep telling people about is a designing scheme, which is by MSME Ministry, and you can. So, for example, if you have a product and you want some consultancy, then Ministry has impanel an ID and IFT and all. So you can hire a person from these two institutions, and you will get reimbursement from government for hiring these people. The other thing, I mean, that's not specifically for women. These are schemes which are very relevant for anyone who is pursuing their dreams. So even schemes like, getting your patent reimbursement, trademark reimbursement is also very, very helpful. You all should, we are thinking that we will create platform, but if we have a concept and you have a unique concept and you want to have a copyright trademark, that is good enough to, at least get those registrations done. So the ministry, if you go on, I've already shared in the WhatsApp, somebody asked the government scheme which they can take help of. And I'm really happy that as one of our project, we will be actually, we are working with the Indian TikTok Mitro to come up with 2 minutes video with ministry people on the different schemes by Women Innovators. So we will try to, highlight. There are a lot of scheme. There is one scheme by Animal Husbandry, which is for rural women, is, getting, if they're starting any fish business, they get reimbursement to start those businesses. There are daycare centers which they want to finance ministries funding to start those daycare so that women and different areas can get support. So there are different schemes, and most importantly, the 3% procurement policy. So now every public enterprise, PSUs or central ministry of the total procurement has to happen from women businesses. So I think these are which my mind very quickly.
Thank you, Tripti ji. Now I have a question which is open to all the panelists. What are the tips, according to you, to build resilience in young women?
Very important question. This is very important question.
So Vinay, you should go first. You're very enthusiastic.
Well, certainly, yes. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer this, because now I would like to bring in the perspective of a life coach here. Because I have seen my journey from being a person who was poor in academics, who wanted to pursue engineering from the IITs, and was not even able to be selected in topmost engineering colleges, and now giving lectures in the IITs. The one important factor about being resilient is you can never lose hope, because you have to have a clear vision, just like Arjuna. You have to have a clear vision just like Arjuna. And when you have that clear vision, your body language automatically changes. And that is what the important factor, according to me, is. Thank you.
Can I request the other panelists to add to this? Dr. Blossom, would you like to say something? Meeta ma'am, you would like to say something?
You have to have confidence. This is very, very important. And like I always say, even if you don't, you are feeling nervous inside, imagine, feel, just act as though you have the confidence, and you have to have that smile and that confidence and that poise and that posture, and you can get anywhere. That is really what you need, really, I feel. Of course, I love what he was saying too. That is important, the whole thing, what Vinay was saying.
Yeah,
Added to
I have to agree with Blossom over here, because sometimes there are times when you really are not sure of yourself, and women are taught to doubt themselves a lot. But fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Just fake it till you make it. That's a very American way of doing things. That doesn't mean you tell lies. That doesn't mean that you're dishonest. But that does mean that you trust yourself to handle any situation that is thrown at you. So, I mean, I literally just think of this tiny example. If you're boiling milk and the milk goes bad, you just make paneer with it. Life gives you lemons, you make lemonade with it. Whatever happens, trust yourself that you will be able to deal with the situation with honesty, humility, and with a positive attitude. So if you're in a tough meeting and somebody throws a question to you, you just honestly say, I don't know how to handle this right now, but give me 6 hours, give me 24 hours. Just back yourself up on that one and trust yourself that you will be able to deliver, and then do it.
I feel, aren't we resilient? As a gender, I think we are far more resilient in personal lives. Just mirror the same in professional lives. Like Meeta said, if the milk gets spoiled, make paneer. Precisely that's what you do in the corporate sector.
Madhuri ma'am, would you like to add something to this? Madhuri ma'am, are you there? Ketan sir, would you like to add something here? Okay.
Dr. Rinku, why don't you add your point on this?
I am into, yes, I agree with all the panelists, whatever they are saying, I agree to it, that one has to be headstrong, and ladies are resilient. I mean, ladies are resilient. We just have to bring our inner self out, and then nobody can stop us. And I would like to say all this to the girl students also. My all students are here. So I would like to say that they have to be headstrong. They have to be very confident in their opinions, in their whatever they are doing, the ventures. So I think, yeah, so that was my opinion. There is one last question I would like to ask. One last question I would like to ask. How to break the glass ceiling in the society? It is open to all the panelists. How to break the glass ceiling in the society, because that is what troubles us.
You know, I think there is no glass ceiling. The moment you don't see it, if you don't, it's all in the mind. If there is no ceiling, it just doesn't exist. That's it. There is no glass ceiling. Believe it. That's it.
I just hope that we all agree to it, and we all keep that first thing in our mind, that there is no glass ceiling.
No glass ceiling. It's all in the mind. There's no glass ceiling. I
echo,
believe it.
One of my someone I look up to is RBG. You know, she's no more now, but one thing I follow: be a lady. Don't let yourself overcome by emotions like anger. Be independent. You may be a queen of a family, but be able to defend for yourself. That's it. Thank you.
Absolutely correct. Absolutely. I think we had a wonderful discussion, and I would like to close here. Before we all close, I would like to thank everybody for joining us for this discussion today. Before parting, may I now invite our chairman, Dr. V.M. Bansal, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure, Rinku. Vinay, you've done a great job. And all the panelists, you could see their passion, you could see their happiness on the faces, that something more is happening towards the cause that is so very dear to all of them. So I only now, since I said in the beginning, 70% leadership at NDIM is in the hands of you people. So it is in your hands now to really see that the efforts that have started today, they really grow big, because all of us have to do our bit in this direction. One, it was a very disturbing news which I saw yesterday on the TV, not about our country. I'm talking to you of one of the most advanced and developed countries of the world. I'm talking of France. You know what happened in France was, out of the city elections of mayor, 11 ladies were nominated and only 5 men were nominated. And what was the result? 90,000 euros were fined on the city council for nominating 11 women and only 5 men. So the problem is very big even in that part of the world, who is perhaps our goal or our symbol of superiority or symbol of equality. No, not at all. In India, this can't happen. If in India this happens, the whole world will be after them. The courts will chew you up that very minute. And the lady activists, the other people would chew them up in a minute. So I'm very happy that Indian environment is very supportive, at least the legal environment is very supportive. So it is high time that you really take your place. You're not replacing anybody, you're taking your place. And that was the idea. We thought that NDIM should come forward with this thing. And what I have always been saying is, it is not just that while you're at the campus, you have to be doing it. You have to stay connected to this movement for the rest of your life. And which I have also been saying is, God forbidding, if any of you have a problem 2 years or 10 years or 20 years from now, you should be able to bank upon this platform at NDIM so that we really take care of our daughters, our sisters. This is the goal, this is the aim, and in that goal and aim, I seek the support of Women Innovator in a very big way, because it cannot be confined to a small spot. We have to really take care of the entire life journey of the students graduating from the campus, because in that way, they are going to become big support to the rest of the world. And for the information of all the attendees today, the chief ministers and the ministers whom you met today are students of our first semester of MBA. They have just joined the college 3 months back. So I'm very happy that at least they're looking at the issues and the problems that are bothering various ministries and various states and various union territories. I'm sure when the student power grows up and when the women power grows up, things will certainly improve. So I'm very grateful to the Women Innovator, to all the panelists. And one final request once again, please keep on connecting with our students. Please keep on guiding them. Please make NDIM as your home, because we would like the energy and the experience of each one of you to come handy to our students, to our faculty, so that we can all move in the direction that we want to be moving all this while. We will provide you that platform forever. I can only assure you that. It's been a happy moment for me that one of our cherished dreams has taken shape today. And thank you very much, everybody. And I'm sure you are going to support us in this cherished dream in the days to come. Thank you very much, Tripti. Thank you, everybody, a very big way.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks a lot for being there. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Bansal. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Bansal. And before we just end this event, I would just like to make an important announcement. And thank you, Dr. Bansal, for making us realize that the first step towards solving a problem is realizing and accepting that, yes, there exists one. And before we end this event, I would just like to make an announcement that I would like to request the students of NDIM to help these young leaders, the ministers, expand their ministries. There are a lot of ministries in the actual Union Government of India. You may all, with the help of faculties, join these ministries as the young ministers. And then even you can expand your ministries, your state representation. You can choose different people, because in this era of global integrity and globalization, it's all about teamwork, and teamwork further is all about situational leadership. So I would request the students to work upon it, and you may expand your ministries accordingly. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Rinku. Thank you.
And before that, I must congratulate the parents of all the ministers and chief ministers of today. I'm sure they're watching this program. They will be really happy and very, very proud of their sons and daughters today. So it's a big cheers to them also.
Thank you so much, sir. With this, we come to an end of today's exclusive event of the launch of Independent Women Empowerment Cell in partnership with Womennovator. But I assure you all that this is just a beginning and our journey has just begun. Thank you all for joining us today. Goodbye. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much. Thank you, Bansalji.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you,
Bansal.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Bye,
much.
Meeta. Bye. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you so much.